Hello everybody, my name is Coda and welcome back to my survival world. If you remember last episode, we built a beautiful dock around the back of our base, complete with a ship, a boathouse, and a pirate cave. We also worked on expanding the basement, which included installing this furnace room. Now that we have most of our house projects finished, it's time to work on expanding the base. My plan for today's episode is to start up a small villager breeder, and I've been wanting to put a building right in this area. You remember how I said I need beehives for my floor to finish off the starter base? Well, that's what we're going to tackle in today's episode. The plan is to incorporate some kind of a wheat farm powered by a villager and bees. And with bees in the farm, we'll also be able to harvest a honeycomb that we'll need for the floor to finish the starter house. So be sure to stick around and I hope you enjoy today's episode. I've been farming up quite a bit of bees. I know I'm not going to need this many, but it's always good to have a few extra. And I've been trying to get these natural spawn beehives in. I'll show you what I'm doing for those in a minute, but I'm trying to fill every single one of these beehives with 3 bees, and I think I definitely have more than these beehives can fit. So I might have to make up some of those man-made beehives and get the extras into there. But I figured having a little bit of extra would be a lot better than running out of bees. To get the natural hives to spawn, I've been growing these birch trees next to flowers, and on occasion, whenever you grow up a tree next to a flower, it has a chance to spawn a beehive. I'm pretty sure it has to be within this block or the second block away from the flower in order to be able to spawn a bee nest. But that's how I've been getting so many of those beehives. I've also been manually breeding these villagers. I've got a couple in here that have grown up, and then I added 2 more of these guys over here. I'm still working out their trades, but eventually I want to get hopefully Unbreaking and Efficiency 5. But now that I have plenty of spare villagers, I've got plenty of bees to go, it's time for this farm to be put in. So we've got the basics of the farm laid out here. You can tell it's a pretty simple concept. Right here's where the farmland is going to be that the villager is going to harvest all the crops and stuff. At this very end, there's going to be some flowers. And then over here is where the beehives are going to go. The bees will travel across this way and pollinate the flowers. And then during that time, they'll also be pollinating the wheat and making it grow faster. And you can see under this one that I'm going to have a simple railway track just to collect all the items. I've also been collecting some seeds so that way we can fill the villagers' inventories. Filling their inventory with seeds means that they'll only be able to plant down the wheat seeds and then throw the actual wheat onto the ground, and then the hopper will pick it up. You can see the redstone here is pretty simple. We have a dispenser, and then where the beehives are going to go, it's going to be read by this comparator, and then it'll give an output whenever it's full to actually power the dispenser. It'll then shear the beehive and shoot the drops out, which will then be picked up by this hopper minecart. That's pretty much the basics of how this farm is going to work, and now I just have to design how it's actually going to look. So I went ahead and laid out the redstone. And if you can make out what this is, there's a comparator clock reading from the dispenser, or the dropper down at the bottom, that'll shoot the items up through this bubble column. And the bubble column will feed over into these 2 chests here. I still need to set up some item filters for those 2, but that's how that'll work. And for the minecart itself, there's just a simple hopper minecart unloader. And on this side, it's the exact same thing. This item filter is by Impulse SV, and it's pretty simple to follow. If you want to know more about it, go look it up. There does need to be some torches right there. But as you can see, it kind of encroaches on the wheat field a little bit, so we will have to push this back. But now that all the redstone is in place, we kind of have an outline of where the building needs to go, and that's what I'm going to start working on next. Okay, so I've got the design down that I really like, and now it's just time to mirror it onto that side. So I went ahead and finished up both of the sides, and then I got the villagers in here and the glass as well. So what's left is tilling the ground and getting the bees in. So I kind of made a mistake, and I filled these villagers' inventory with seeds, and I was supposed to do it with bread. So now I'm out 8 stacks of seeds, and I need to craft up a bunch of bread. But the issue is these guys' inventory is full, so either I wait for them to empty all their inventory, or I get new villagers. And I think that's what I'm going to do, so I think these guys are going to get sunset. So I got both of these guys into the farm, and you could tell from the clip before that this guy had a bit of potatoes in his inventory, but I'm pretty sure I was able to get all of them out, and now the farm should be working as intended, and it doesn't look like they want to jump up on the composter anymore because I put this block here, but we'll see. I've been watching them, and so far the wheat hasn't grown up at all, so I can't really tell if they're going to throw the wheat on the ground, which is what they're supposed to do. But hopefully that fixed every issue that I have. Now I just have to let the bees out, and I think this side needs a few more bees because I might have accidentally possibly killed 3 of them. But that, I think, is the farm wrapped up, and hopefully it actually works this time. Alright, so a few issues arose. The villager does not like replanting all of the wheat. So I think I might have filled up his inventory a little too much. It might have had to been 7 stacks of bread and 1 stack of wheats or wheat seeds or something like that. I don't know. But he's not planting the wheat, and I can't get him to throw any of the bread to this villager, which I thought he might do. But as you can see, oh shoot, never mind. I've been waiting here for a while, and he was not throwing his bread to this guy. But yeah, okay. So now I'm gonna try and give him a stack of wheat seeds, and then see if he actually wants to replant. Now, I don't know how many bread this guy has. Great. Alright, well, alright. I'm gonna keep working at this. Okay, I really hate villagers. So it turns out I've been doing this wrong the entire time, and it's been frustrating me for a couple hours now. And the deal with it is the villagers can't interact with the composter at all, and I thought putting trapdoors around it would work, but apparently the trapdoors need to be blocking like its headspace. So I did have it right in the first place where you fill up the inventory with seeds, and then they're only able to pick up seeds and then plant down the seeds, whatever, and then the wheat will be left over for the hopper minecart to pick up. The only issue was the headspace around the composter needs to be trapdoors so that it can't actually reach the composter to compost the bone meal or compost the seeds into bone meal. So that was the issue that I was having, and I just watched Tango's video on it. He did a video, it wasn't specifically on a farm like this, it was one of his Hermitcraft videos, one of the earlier ones. So that's where I got this kind of idea from. But I went back and watched that and saw that he covered up the top of like that block right there with trapdoors. So I'm going to try that and see if it works. And hopefully I don't have to kill this guy. I did have to kill this other, I mean, not kill. I would never kill. I had to sunset the other guy over here, and I got another villager. Getting them to throw the bread in their inventory was not working out, so I had to do some things with those other 2 villagers. But it's okay because we still have 2 more, and I really need to set up a villager breeder like this episode because I am running out of villagers. But yeah, now that I sussed out the problem, hopefully it'll actually work, and I'll check back in with you guys after I work it around a little bit, but I'm really hoping this works. Alright, so I actually got it to work. This is a brand new villager. The guy that was in here is now just right here. I didn't sunset him because I figured I was wasting too many villagers. But as you can see, this guy, I've got his inventory full, and see he left the wheat seeds on the ground there and the wheat. And in a moment, it'll get picked up by that minecart hopper that we have and then shot over into, oh, there it goes. So now it should wind up in here. Yep, it's working. That makes me really happy. I've been spending a lot of time on this project, so seeing it work is actually really nice. Now I just have to let the bees out, and I'm gonna wait till nighttime for that because I don't want to have to kill any more bees, and I would rather spare myself the frustration of having to deal with them. So we'll wait till nighttime, we'll let the bees out, and then I can actually start working on this building part like I've said I'm gonna do for a while now. So yeah. Alright, it took a little bit of finagling, a little bit of villager rearranging, but I finally got this one to work. This is a different villager. I moved the other 2 back to the villager breeder, and hopefully we'll find a use for them later. But now this side is working, and the other side is working. You see I released the bees on that side. Once it gets nighttime, I'll release the bees on this side, and that's pretty much the farm good to go. And you can see, as I've been working on this side over here, we've been collecting drops, and the rates are actually pretty good. So I am happy with that. And there we have it. All the bees are out, but of course it's raining right now, so they're not actually out of their hives. But I took the opportunity and removed the trapdoors, and now the farm should be working perfectly. and that means it's time to start working on the building. So I've been working on the outline here, and I've kind of carried the low roof, kind of small dome-ish incline up to this portion of the build, and I'm probably going to continue the birch theme into that part. I do want to incorporate some copper that I've been aging over there, and I think it'll look really nice. So I've got the basic idea laid out, and I figured I'd bring everyone back in before I start adding the detail bits, and you know how I do it. Around back here, I added these to cover up the item filters, and you can see I started detailing this wall a little bit. This is about what the backside looks like, and the wheat field kind of encroaches on the building, and I kind of like that. I think it looks really nice. But I might do something with the wall and bring it closer to the building like it is over in this area, or I might just leave it. But that's kind of an idea. And then, of course, this side looks about the same. It is more into the hill than the other one, but you can see it still went with the same kind of detailing principles over there. And I still need to add some details around this bit, which is mostly just going to be buttons or signs or something like that. But this is what it looks like before we add in all of the detail bits. The final building details are in place, and I did finish this inside part. It is looking a little bland, but honestly, it doesn't matter that much. I'm just going to be coming here, collecting the stuff from the chests, and leaving. So it doesn't need to be that extensive with the details and the plannings and stuff like that, so I just left it as is. And this pathway here is a little bit future-proof because the plan for this path is to wrap around this way and then over across and then over there. And we might be expanding the field later. I'm not really sure. But I also have some plans for this little section here, and I do want to keep this part of the building open just so we can see some, so the field probably won't get expanded that much. But that's where we're sitting at right now. The next step is to go in and add some leafy bits, like we did over there. Just a bunch of mossy stuff, some leaves, some just overall greenery to make this actually look like it's set in ground and part of the nature. Now with mostly all the greenery bits added, it's time to start the expansion around the back. I was thinking for this area, we could expand this little infinite water source that I was using and kind of make it into like a small little lake, and then probably put in a well or something, and then that'll probably be it for this build. The last part would be adding a path around here to actually get to the apiary. Now we have a nice natural looking nook, and with a cute little pond and a little bit of a well here, and this little area is coming together really nicely. I also went ahead and extended this path all the way over to the bee farm. I'm thinking eventually, and probably sooner than later, there is going to be a field that we're going to put in here to fill in this area. But as you can see, the path leads all the way up to the apiary. And you can see as we've been working, we've been filling up the chests. This farm is working very well, and I am happy with it. If any of you want a tutorial specific to this build, I can probably do that. And I'm talking more of a tutorial specific for how the build functions as a farm. But if that interests anybody, be sure to let me know down in the comments. I might have overdone it with the villager breeding. I kind of left the villagers on their own while I was working on the bee farm, and I think I gave them one too many potatoes. So now I have a ton of villagers and an iron golem. So I'm thinking the next project we work on in this episode is getting a villager breeder together and getting a little bit organized with the villagers. And maybe villager breeder this episode, villager trading hall next. Who knows? We'll see. But having them in these cobblestone boxes is kind of bothering me.
Sounds right. Sounds right. Sounds right. Sounds right.
I know I had said I was done with the cobblestone boxes, but I don't have any ideas. And I don't want to force myself to make something or start working on it when I don't have any ideas for it. So for now, cobblestone boxes stay. But as you saw, we're getting plenty of villagers, and we've got plenty in reserve. So I'd say that's villagers taken care of for this episode. And I know I'm pretty late on coming out with this one, so I want to work on one final thing before I end the episode. And that'll be this field sitting here. Without further ado,
Soundstripe.
now that we got the basic outline all complete, it's time to get some crops in. I choose carrots.
Soundstripe.
Alright, with the field in place, now we get to detailing the wall. And we're going to take the same concept that we used for the wheat field and bring it down here.
Soundstripe.
The wall is now fully detailed, and it's time to start moving on to detailing just around the bits. And you can see I've outlined some grass areas here and a little bit over there where I'm going to fill it in, and then I'm going to walk around and do the same thing that we did over in that area and just kind of add a little bit more detail around the edges of the wall so that it kind of feels like it's supposed to be here and it's kind of set in the ground. And here is the final product. Mostly. You see, I have about 16 coarse dirt to my name, and nothing else. Meaning, I can't fill in patches like this. So this is about as good as it gets until I get some more grass. But between the two fields, we've got a nice pathway going, and I even connected it down at the docks. So now we have one interconnected pathway leading across our base. I also went through and updated some of the terrain and texturing around here. Speaking of updating, I also went and replaced the floor with the beehives that I talked about. And talking about the docks reminded me, I've let this roof oxidize, and I want your opinion on it. Should we keep it just a regular copper color, or should we keep it the fully oxidized copper? Let me know down in the comments. And make sure to let me know if you want a tutorial for this farm. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode today. I had a lot of fun putting it together, and sorry it came out so late. I've been pretty busy IRL, just had a lot of stuff going on, but I should be able to record a little more frequently now. And if you guys have any ideas for what kind of build we could do for our villagers, be sure to let me know. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a great day and take care. And thank you for staying this long.